Hi everyone, welcome. Okay. Has anyone played Jeopardy before? Okay, so we're just gonna go through the columns. Nothing competitive, but if there's any questions you have that you want to know more of, you could always ask and we could go through it together. You guys ready? Oh, also for anyone who's coming in, please write your email down in the group chat so I could keep attendance. Okay, the first question is, this macronutrient is the most energy dense nutrient with 9 calories per gram. You could type your answers into the chat or you could just say it out loud, whatever you prefer. Do you guys know what this macronutrient is?
Is it a fat?
Yes. What is fat? Do you know how many calories is proteins and carbs?
Is it 7?
Give me 1 second to double check. I think they're both 4 each. Yeah, they're both 4 each. Okay. Next question. Proteins are key components of these 3 vital elements in the body: blood cells, enzymes, and blank. Anyone have any guesses of what other things protein do in your body? What are immune factors? Okay, next question. The process of cooking does not affect this nutrient.
Is it vitamins?
Yeah. Oh no, it's minerals.
No,
Vitamins
sorry.
vitamins are affected by cooking. So if you cook it, it becomes not as usable energy. I mean, not as usable, but mineral is not affected by cooking. These chemicals found in fruits and vegetables offer health benefits but are not classified as essential nutrients.
I'm gonna guess again, vitamins.
Yeah. Wait, no, it's not vitamins. Sorry. It's in your lecture. It's not any macronutrient and not any micronutrients. It's like the extra effects you get from consuming vegetables and fruits. And you can't do this if you're eating like a specific supplement. Like if you're just eating vitamin A by itself, you won't get any of the other benefits from consuming like a vegetable with vitamin A.
Is it phytochemicals?
Yeah, it's phytochemicals. These 4 minerals dissolve in fat. Do you know what minerals dissolve in fat? Not minerals, micronutrients.
Sorry, what was your question?
These 4 micronutrients dissolve in fat. So what are the 4 micronutrients that dissolve in fat?
Is it A, D, E, and K?
Yes, they are. Okay, this section is specifically about guidelines. This term describes food that provides a large number of calories relative to their weight or volume.
Is it nutrient dense?
Yes. What is a food you could think of on the top of your head that is nutrient dense, as an example?
Soybean?
Yep. You guys are all welcome to participate by typing in the chat too if you all want to like write down a nutrient dense food. Yeah, cashews are nutrient dense. Health problems resulting from insufficient dietary intake to meet nutritional needs describe this condition.
Malnutrition.
Undernutrition. Malnutrition could also be overnutrition. Do you know what the difference between those 3 words are?
No.
Isn't malnutrition about it can be either lack of nutrition or overnutrition? It's not just lack of nutrition.
Yeah, you could consume a lot of food, but if it doesn't meet all the requirements your body needs to survive, then it's like still malnutrition. Foods like fruits, vegetables, and whole grains are examples of this type of food, which is rich in nutrients but relatively low in calories.
Is it fiber?
It's not fiber.
Is it carbohydrates?
It's not carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are types of, fruits, vegetables, and whole grains are types of carbohydrates. But this is talking about specifically rich in nutrients, but relatively low in calories.
Vegetables?
Oh, nutrient dense foods. Yeah, this is just like all vegetables, fruits. So nutrient dense and energy dense, I realized I just switched them up. So an example of nutrient dense will be all the food you guys just mentioned, cashews, soybeans. But energy dense are food with little nutritional value, but have a lot of calories. And the example that comes to my mind is candy. Like all the Halloween candy, if you look at a package, it's like 130 for like a Twix bar or something like that, you know? And it's just like pure sugar. So that's all you're getting, quick energy. and it doesn't have a lot of vitamins, minerals, or like proteins or anything else. And so that's what energy dense food is, while a nutrient dense food is something that you could usually see on like the food pyramid, the food cycle, like the plate. And it's like what people recommend you consume because they give you a lot of phytochemicals as well as a lot of minerals and vitamins and all those like things your body needs. Does anyone have any questions between the difference in nutrient dense and energy dense? Okay, here's a challenge for you guys. In the chat, type in a nutrient dense food and an energy dense food. Just to make sure you guys understand. Yep, celeries and strawberries are nutrient dense. Peas are energy dense. Oh yeah, the beans and fried rice example that the professor used. Carrots and pineapple. Carrots and pineapple are both nutrient dense. Kale and pizza. Okay, moving on. Observed to be adequate to meet the needs of an age/gender without seeing any problems or apparent deficiencies.
Is it like the daily value of calories?
Not daily
There-
value. It's similar to something like that.
My bad. I thought you said meat. Like my letter covered covered up the meat, and I thought you meant meat. So sorry.
And no worries.
Is it adequate intake?
Yep, it's adequate intake. And it's like they use this. You can look it up online if you want, and if they consider like your lifestyle as well as like specifically your age and gender. And it's to help you figure out what the baseline of nutrition you need. But on the labeling, which we're gonna go over later, they base it on, do you know how many calories, like averagely they base it on for the nutrition fact label?
Is it 2000?
Yeah, 2000. Okay, the next question. Symptoms like rapid hair loss can be an indicator in this type of assessment, which focuses on nutrition-related physical signs. Also, those who just joined the Zoom, may you put your email in the chat so I could take attendance.
Is it clinical appearance or clinical something?
Yeah, it's the clinical assessment, the third step of the ABCDEs. And do you guys know what the other letters stand for? Because there's a lot to consider where you're assessing someone's nutrition.
Isn't it like anthropometric, biochemical, dietary, and environmental assessments?
Yep. I thought this was really fun to like understand what nutrition really is, because usually when you think of nutrition, you just think of food, but it's like so much to consider and not just about what you put in your mouth. Okay. This next section is food labeling. Like we just talked about the 200 calories, and it's like that nutrition facts you see behind every like food item. Okay, This label indicates that a food product is grown without pesticides, synthetic fertilizers, or genetically modified organisms.
Is it non-GMO?
Close. Non-GMO is an example of what? They had like a whole law for it. It was in your lecture. There's a lot of
Organic?
movement where people are preferring this type of food too.
Like organic food?
Yep. What is organic? This act requires that food
Anything
products.
95%.
Oh, go for it.
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting people. Isn't it supposed to, an organic label is 95% up to organic? Anything
Yeah, like in
under
the food. Yeah, so if it's like a process thing, the requirement is like a certain percentage of the whole entire process have to be organic. So you're right about that. Okay, this one is, this act requires that food products containing protein from major allergens must be labeled to protect consumers.
Is it the Food Allergen Labeling and Consumer Protection Act?
Yeah. Now this is the fun part. I think there's like there's like a lot of major allergens and they just added a new one. I don't know if you went over this in lecture, but the newest one, do you guys know what the newest allergen that was added to this list was? Or off the top of your head, do you know any major allergens that you could see on the back of these boxes? And sometimes they have a picture of that ingredient that they usually go, oh, it contains or don't contain. Yeah,
Is it
peanuts is a big
sesame?
one. It is sesame. So peanuts is a very common allergy, soy, dairy. There's a small list, but it's quite big too. A common health claim on food packaging that does not require scientific evidence and is not approved or validated by the FDA. An example of this is that these vitamin gummies support the immune system.
Is it like the multivitamins ones or is that?
There was like categories of health claims that she went over in lecture, and this was just one of them. And multivitamins claiming they support the immune system because they have like vitamin C or zinc or something like that. It's not approved or validated by the FDA, but people do it for marketing, you know?
Is it a structure claim?
Yes, it's a structure and function health claim. You pick up a box of cereals in the supermarket. The nutrition facts panel tell you that a 1 cup serving provides 25% of the blank for iron.
Is it daily value?
Yes, this is daily value. And it's based off of 2,000 calories. Average human is what they assume is average adult human is what they're assuming needs that much, but it definitely varies per your lifestyle, your like high age, weight, and all. There's so many factors, but this is just like easier to do if they just average it out, you know? A food label, that means replacing nutrients lost in processing.
Is it fortified?
Not fortified, it's the other one. So I actually did my senior, it's not enhanced, it's really close. It's enriched. I actually did my senior thesis studying all-purpose flour, and I learned how, like, back then, they took out, when they processed flour, they wanted to make it as white, homogeneous, soft, shelf-stable, you know, to last for a very long time. And in order to do that, they had to take out a lot of the parts of the wheat so it doesn't, decompose as fast. And because they did that, a lot of the nutrients got lost. And when the US government noticed that a lot of children were becoming deficient in a lot of vitamins and developing health problems from it, they realized, let's just enrich it by replacing it with the nutrient loss and fortifying it with things that they also need that wasn't found originally in that product. And the thing about this is it did work, but the product from the beginning and the one at the end after they enrich and fortify it wasn't like a perfect 1-to-1 ratio of nutrients. So all those phytochemicals that were lost, they weren't replaced. So that's just like a fun story to help you remember these two words. Okay, now we're going on the digestive system. Starch digesting enzyme produced by salivary glands and pancreas.
Is it amylase?
It is amylase. It's kind of cool that digestion of starches, of carbs, start in your mouth. Mixture of stomach secretions and partially digested food. I saw in the chat that Riley put chyme, and this is the answer for that one. I just thought it was a very silly name to describe something that like doesn't seem as pleasant, but it has a cute name. The part of the digestive system that has microbiota and absorbs water, some minerals, and vitamins. So which part of the digestive system does this? Yes, this is the large intestines. This type of nutrient that cannot be absorbed by the small intestine through the hepatic portal to the liver because this nutrient is too big. This nutrient enters the lacteals, travels to the lymphatic system, to the bloodstream, and is stored in adipose tissue. Does anyone know what this nutrient is? Yes, it is lipids. You guys know what the nutrients that go through the hepatic portal are called? There's two of them. It's the other two nutrients. It's just carbs and proteins. It's kind of a trick question. When I wrote this slide, it was kind of cool to track what the lipid is doing as soon as it enters your body and gets to the small intestines, because it goes through the lacteals. This is its pathway. Does anyone have any questions about that? Okay, this organ in the digestive system manufactures insulin, glucagon, bicarbonate ion, lipase, trypsinogen, and amylase. Yes, it's pancreas. Can someone tell me what insulin and glucagon are? Yes, they do control glucose, but can you be more specific? If this was on the test, I think she would want to know more.
Don't they help regulate your blood sugar spikes?
Yeah, but which one does what?
Oh, I have no idea.
So to me, they're like oh, did someone else want to say it?
Doesn't insulin help take glucose out of your blood, and then glucagon gets broken down back into glucose to raise your blood glucose levels?
Yes, I wish I had a fun video to show you guys about that, but they're basically like dance partners. So in your head, just picture a circle of when you consume something and then your bloodstream. So insulin, as you said, breaks down the glucose after you consume it. But when your blood starts not having enough glucose to function, then glucagon breaks the sugars down so your blood and your cells could get it. So it's like a fun dance they do, What does bicarbonate ion do? What's a function of that?
Doesn't that help with the production of insulin?
I don't think so. Sarah Flores in the chat says a neutralized acid in small intestines. And that's the answer I was looking for because your stomach is super acidic. And when the chyme goes from your your stomach to the small intestine, it also brings a lot of stomach acid with it. And you don't want that because you don't want to make your your small intestines too acidic. So the pancreas releases a lot of bicarbonate ion and it neutralizes all that acid from the small intestine, from the stomach going into the small intestine. Okay, what about lipase? If you know your roots, you could figure this out by just breaking down the word from this and this. Anyone have any takers? Yes. Lipase breaks down lipids. And Sarah Flores asked, are insulin and glucagon hormones? Yes, they are hormones. They are initiated when there's too much glucose in the blood or too little in the blood. So yes, they are hormones. What about trypsinogen? Does anyone know what that does?
Doesn't that help digest food by like breaking down proteins into amino acids?
Yeah. Do you remember which part of your digestive system it does that in?
The large intestine?
No, not the large intestines.
Okay. Sorry, that was just a guess.
Well, it was a pretty good guess, but it's not the large intestines. Does anyone else have an idea where trypsinogen breaks down proteins at?
Is it the small intestine?
Yes, it's the small intestine. Most chemical breaking down happens in the small intestines. And most mechanical digestion happens in the stomach. But it also all happens throughout your whole entire GI tract. Okay, next section. We're talking about illnesses that could happen from not being in equilibrium in certain parts of your GI tract. Okay. Erosion of the lining in the esophagus, stomach, or upper small intestines. Yep, ulcers. Health condition in which stomach acid backs up into the esophagus and is common in half of North American adults. Yep, acid reflux or heartburn. Chronic immune-mediated disease that flattens villi and limits absorption of nutrients due to exposure to dietary protein, gluten. Yeah, celiac. Eliminate, oh, this is actually a treatment plan to a specific illness. Eliminate trigger foods, poorly digested carbohydrate, follow low food map dietary pattern, moderate caffeine, small frequent low fat meal, and reduce stress, treat depression. What is this a treatment plan to?
Is it IBS?
It is IBS. Okay, last question that I have. According to the hygiene hypothesis, a highly sanitized environment might contribute to a higher risk of developing these types of immune-related disorders. What are those immune-related disorders?
Is it autoimmune?
Autoimmune, and one more.
Allergies?
And allergies. This one was kind of funny because there's a lot of movement towards being clean, like making sure restaurants are up to like food code standards and like everyone's keeping their houses really nice and tidy and stuff like that. And because of that, a lot of children are not exposed to a lot of germs or allergens and stuff. This is what the hypothesis says. And when they grow up and have exposure to these allergens, their body treats it as like an autoimmune, reaction or an allergic reaction, which is a bummer, but it happens. Does anyone have any questions? Any other questions? This concludes our Jeopardy game.
Will this Jeopardy thing be posted on the Canvas?
Yeah, the recorded video will be. All of these questions I made based on the lecture slides from chapter 1 to 3. So if any of these questions you want to learn more about, they're in the lectures and they're in like the corresponding based on like what I wrote down for the title. And if you have any more questions or want to like go through something more to understand it better, you can always like let me know, like email me.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
I had a question about polysaccharides. So, oh, sorry. So
Sure.
polysaccharides are plants, right?
Polysaccharides are carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, the monomer, which is just like a single unit of carbohydrates, is called monosaccharides. But if there is multiples of that like repeating unit, they're called polysaccharides. So carbohydrates, it could be plants, yeah. Ask away. We got 8 more minutes. If you don't have any questions, make sure that you already put your email down in the chat so I could take attendance for it. And you guys are free to go, but I'll be staying until the end of 2:40. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. I'm here to answer and help out.
Did any of this come from the textbook, or was it just all lecture?
This is all lecture material. The assigned readings, I was not in this class when I took the nutrition class last year. I had a different professor who was also a registered dietitian. So she did everything like lecture based, and those were the knowledge I have is from her. I didn't read any of the assigned readings, so I didn't do any of it, but they do like usually when professors assign reading, it's like goes into more detail of what's in the lecture. And because this is assigned, like it's required to do, there would probably be a lot of content on there. And if you have any questions on that, I could totally help go through like any concepts and stuff. Because I'm pretty sure I know of them. I just didn't read it. And you can also email me like throughout the weekend and stuff. I'll get to it and I'll respond. And if I don't know a question, I'll just ask Dr. Rose. So let me know. Okay, I see Jana's question on where do monk fruit and coconut sugar come in? Can you be more specific about your question? I'm kind of confused about it. Are you asking about like category wise, like which category is it part of?
Yeah, like I understand that like coconut sugar is a nutritive sweetener because it's like has more calories, right? But she didn't, that's on that. It's not a alternative sweetener, right?
So I
Like monk fruit.
remember. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I was just wondering like where in them all, where do they kind of fit in?
Okay. Was there, like when she was talking about alternate sweeteners, there's some that are just sugar alcohols. Did she go over that?
Yeah,
Okay, so those aren't
but
sugar
like
alcohols because these provide calories and they seem like they're just super processed of a specific fruit. Um, Similar to like cane sugar, you know? It's not like where it's harvest like it's not like it's an alcohol, like a sugar alcohol that's like derived and doesn't provide any calories, but still sweet. These seem to just be derived from like a fruit. Is that what you're looking for? Or can you be more specific on your question?
no, I was just curious. I know that like coconut sugar is supposed to be better for you because it doesn't raise your blood glucose as much. But she didn't really talk about that in the lecture, so I was just curious about that.
Okay, what I know about coconut oil, which is not in coconut sugar, is completely different. I know more about coconut oil than coconut sugar, so I will ask the professor and email you back. How's that feel?
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah, thanks for all your help.
of course. Let me know if you have any other
Bye.
questions.
Could you go over the lymphatic circulation process?
Okay. I'm gonna share the section of the Jeopardy slide because I like tracked it down. I think it was not this one. Yes, this one. Okay. So specifically the lipid, it goes through a separate pathway because it's physically too big. Like, have you ever seen like a lipid molecule relative to like a protein and carbs? It's just huge. And it's like will not fit through the hepatic portal. So it actually enters lacteals, which are big enough for the lipids to go through. And then it travels to the lymphatic system. Do you know what that is?
I like have notes on it, but like,
So,
not that in depth.
okay, so think of your bloodstream is its own system, right? And then there's points in your bloodstream where it deposits like garbage, and these garbage sites enter the lymphatic system. It's like they do a lot of change, but it's basically a bunch of like waste from your bloodstream. And so basically the lipids, they enter the lacteals, they go to this like waste bloodstream, but it's like throughout your whole body. And for some reason, I don't remember learning this in elementary school, you know, this like organ system. I mean, this system in your body, but this is another system to your body, which is kind of interesting. But it's throughout your whole body. It's basically a waste system and the garbage sites, and then it re-enters the bloodstream and is stored in adipose tissue. You know what adipose tissue is?
I don't.
It's like where fat hangs out. Like, um, if you like Google it, it's basically like layers, the layer where fat conglomerates. So it just hangs out there until it's needed to be burned off, and then it goes.
Okay, sweet. Thank you so much. That was
Of course.
that was a lot helpful.
Let me know if you have any other questions.
Cool. I just wanted to, I don't know who's on my message. I just wanted to apologize for joining literally so late. I just like my shift was longer than I thought, and I hopped on and realized I missed like most of the actual review.
I saw your message and I appreciate the apology. I didn't have time to type a response, so sorry about that.
No, I know. We're getting a lot of questions. I'm a little bit curious about the actual exam. Do you expect like do you see the quizzes that like we take on Canvas?
Well, I don't have access. I mean, I have the links and stuff, but I never checked it out. And I should probably do more research about that. But they're supposed to help you like juggle and like recall information, you know? So I'm pretty sure a lot of it is going to be applicable to the midterm. But I don't
Okay,
know
cool.
if it's like exact questions are going to be on there. Like I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, I was wondering in terms of like because I don't know, honestly, sometimes during the lectures it was like would get pretty like more complicated, like in terms of the material, but then the quizzes would not be as dense in material. So I was kind of curious as to like how they would compare. But
Oh, okay. I feel like you want, if you want a challenge, I could let Dr. Rose know to make him a little bit more.
no, no. No, I don't want to challenge. I was
Okay.
more so just about like if that's how we can expect exam questions to look like. But maybe I'd ask her.
I think you will find out more after the midterm is over, so then you could do well, I could also ask the professor. Do you want me to ask her to see what kind of um like how it compares to the quiz?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm genuinely curious, but it also might say something in the syllabus, so I can also check
Oh,
there.
that could be true. Do you have any other questions about the context? You want to go over anything you're a bit confused about, whether in lecture or in reading?
Trying to think right now, not completely off the bat. Let me think. Hyper. Honestly, you were asking about the adipose tissue. I'm taking physiology right now also, and so I'm like, I think that like context helps a lot with understanding a lot of like the material.
Yeah. Dr. Rose was my physio teacher. So this is kind of funny.
No way.
The Jeopardy slides I made for the review session, you're welcome to test yourselves through that. I'm going to be posting the video online, and Dr. Rose will send it out later. So reviewing these and seeing if anything you need more support about, you're welcome to email me.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Of course.
I'll
Thanks for
definitely
coming.
review everything. Yeah, of course.
Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye.